Goedemiddag aan al onze kijkers. Het is weer tijd voor een interview met key opinion leaders uit de industrie. Vandaag hebben we een speciale gast, Pedro Gomes, oprichter van Wallet Connect. Hello Pedro, how are you doing?
Hello, how are you guys doing?
I'm good, thanks. Just enjoying the day and looking forward to our interview.
Absolutely. Let's get chatting.
Let's do it. So I wanted to start with, can you briefly introduce yourself and tell us, how your crypto journey began?
Yeah, so I started in crypto in 2017. I knew about crypto before, but I didn't really went deep into it. Like even when Ethereum was like kind of popping up in 2016, I just thought it was very curious. At the time I was working in fintech, so like the idea of like personal finance and banking was really interesting to me, and that was like my day-to-day job building like this new fintech neobank experience. But at the same time, I was learning about Ethereum being so innovative and building like this brand new experience, and I was finding out that like fintech, even though it was innovative at the time, it was still so limited by big banks and traditional finance. So in 2017, I kind of just got tired of that, and I was like, I'm gonna go full on crypto. This is gonna be my full time job, and I started working for this like super early Ethereum wallet that was building like one of the first mobile wallets, and it was really interesting because I then got to do all the things that I wanted to do that I couldn't do in the bank. But at the same time, there was like this major friction for new wallets to join because MetaMask was so dominant. So we really needed to go above and beyond to get adoption on our wallet. And I realized that it was actually a technological problem that was actually limiting new wallets coming into the space. And I built this like universal standards that just supports every wallet in existence called Wallet Connect in 2018. And that's where the journey started. Since then, it's been like a very long but very fruitful 7 years working on this.
I see. And so, it all started, I guess, from that technological issue. Like you said, it's very difficult to integrate all these wallets into one place. And I guess, Wallet Connect started as a simple protocol, so to speak, and now it's evolved into a fully, decentralized network and foundation.
Right.
How is
Yeah.
that journey? How is that journey from 2018 till now?
It comes with a role change as well, right? Like you start doing this by just like building like what it was at the time a very quick weekend project, trying to solve a problem. We published that on Twitter, and everyone just like completely out of their minds. They realized this is exactly what we were needing. And even like a couple of months after, like the Ethereum Foundation reached out and said, we're doing one of the first grants, like so they're building out their grants program, and we want you to be one of the first ones. So we actually got one of the first Ethereum Foundation grants, and that's when I switched from working in just one wallet to working Wallet Connect full time. And as you can imagine, in the beginning, it's almost like this developer role, but it's also like DevRel role. So I'm like building the code, but I'm also talking to developers about how we can do it better and promoting the project. So there was a lot of like conference travel, going to a lot of meetups, just kind of sharing the vision. And then it kind of grew out of proportion because then I had this like massive SDK that all of the developers were using. It was having a lot of traffic and the Wallet Connect services, like or the API, so to speak. And then it became like this like company. Like in 2021 we switched from like an open source project to an actual company that actually had investors. It had the in-house team building on it and building out that company. Like obviously, as you can imagine, I wasn't able to code as much. So I even remember in 2022 was when I made the full switch of like, Pedro stops coding because you have better things to do. And then building out that company was a massive step, and at the same time we were like upgrading the network to support more chains and becoming fully multi-chain. And then in 2024, we made the switch of, okay, if Wallet Connect is to grow as much as we believe it's going to grow, it has to be a decentralized network. So like that's how like the evolution of what was my involvement, but also like how did Wallet Connect participate in the ecosystem as a whole.
So it's nice to see how it came to fruition from a solo idea to people using the SDK, a lot of users of the APIs. So it's very nice to see. And for those new to Wallet Connect network, what exactly is it? Like, what's the easiest way to explain it to them, and why is it such an essential part of Web3 or the blockchain ecosystem?
Yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning, like prior to Wallet Connect existing, every application on Ethereum had to integrate each wallet independently. So you can imagine like you're already building in a very volatile market where trends change every second, like the technology changes every second, and you have to worry about like if you want more users, you have to add one wallet one by one. So having this like universal standard meant that like application developers don't need to worry about what is the new wallet in the space or what's the most popular wallets in like Vietnam. They want one solution to work with everything. So it's kind of like the Visa for wallets. When you go to a shop, you use your Visa card and they don't ask you which bank do you use. So you have this really nice universality of like, I don't care about what wallet you have. It just works everywhere and anywhere. And this means that anywhere you go, you can actually just select Wallet Connect, pick up your wallet, whether that's a mobile wallet that you want to just like connect with a deep link, or is it the mobile wallet connected to a desktop that scans a QR code, or even a desktop wallet that actually has a URL that redirects back and forth between the wallet. It's a multi-platform system that allows you to just connect your wallet anywhere. And some people even connect it to like cars, smart TVs, and other things that you usually don't connect your wallets.
Interesting. I did not know this about the smart TV and the cars aspect of it. But this also leads me, to Wallet Connect. The company was, there's a distinction between Wallet Connect and Wallet Connect Network. Wallet Connect is now rebranded to Reown. Can you explain a bit about this? So, to
Yeah,
ease maybe confusion for viewers or for
because
people.
Wallet Connect was a three-part story, right? So at the beginning, it was this open source project, was a technology solving a problem from 2018 to 2021, and those first 3 years are like the most like uh, just like people kind of hacking around a problem and trying to fix it and just collaborating whatever available time they had, whether as like individual contributors or like other companies contributing to this project. And in 2021, that's when like the growth was so massive that it justified having its own company. So Wallet Connect Inc., whatever you want to call it, the company started in 2021, and we were building the number one SDK for Ethereum, which then became the number one SDK across multiple chains, and that became like its own beast. That was just like building out a lot of momentum, a lot of features, the best developer experience in the market. And then in 2024, when we made the switch to the decentralized network, we can't have the decentralized network and the SDK together, so they had to separate. So the foundation now, which transitioned to be my role, like instead of focusing on the SDK, I've now transitioned to the director of the Wallet Connect Foundation, where I can continue my mission to build the Visa for wallets. And Reown, which is the original Wallet Connect company, became the company that builds the best developer experience with app kits, wallet kits, and also has the developer dashboard.
Okay, so there's a connection between the two, but it's not the same thing anymore. It's not the overarching.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
There's
And
still a relationship, as you can imagine,
Yeah.
because like for 7 years building this technology, like the Reown team is the core developer of the Wallet Connect network. So a lot of the upgrades come out of contributions of their work, which they have worked for so many years.
I see. There's this sort of synergy between the two, and like you said, the growth has been massive. With Wallet Connect has, I think it said, over 45 million active or like unique active wallets.
Yeah.
And or users and 90 million connections. What's driven this growth?
290 million connections. And obviously, this depends how you want to quantify it. Like on a monthly basis, is around like 20 million connections. And a lot of these connections are obviously, as you can imagine, coming from either existing users or new users. So the number of new users is also growing. So now we're like 45 million plus. But even on a monthly basis, we have like 5 to 6 million users just coming back and connecting wallets. And the interesting thing about this is that because Wallet Connect is an off-chain like infrastructure that just connects everything as an interoperability layer, we are actually able to identify the actual wallet user without the actual wallet address. So even if you are a power user that has like 100 wallet addresses, it still shows as a single wallet user in the Wallet Connect network, because then you're able to like interact with like, Solana, Ethereum, but you're still the same user.
I see. And what do you think has driven, the growth behind the scenes, and what are the biggest technical or organizational challenges you may have faced in scaling this network?
Well, at each stage there was like different challenges. Like back in 2021, our challenge was like we had this massive growth around DeFi and NFTs. So even like just scaling the servers to understand the like how can we take as much load? You know, if someone was launching a new NFT collection, how can we make sure that at peak times we can handle like 1 million users in one day? That was like one of the first challenges. But by 2022, we had like nailed down and solved all those problems. Then we started actually expanding into different regions. So for a long time, Wallet Connect network was operated across like Europe and US, which meant that like anyone outside of Europe, US had a little bit more latency. It was a little bit of a slower connection. So we then started expanding into like Asia and South America. So we're now in Asia and we're looking to expand next to South America. This is also in collaboration with these node operators, right? The advantage of having a decentralized network is that we can now deploy the network in more regions. So we're really looking forward to expand to more continents as well. And as you can imagine, like as part of decentralization, it's also reliability. Like you don't want a single party to fail. Like if there is an outage or I don't know, a blackout like we saw recently in Europe, like you don't want a bunch of like node operators to go down and Wallet Connect to stop. So this means that like we wouldn't have that concern. Like we would have like people in US, Europe, and Asia operating at all times. So Wallet Connect will always be alive.
I see. And now this leads me a bit to, the Wallet Connect ecosystem. Um, I see that you had an airdrop for the Wallet Connect token in January, I think it was, for phase
Well,
one.
the actual airdrop was in November, but there
Mm-hmm.
was enough time for people to claim that
To
airdrop
claim.
up to January, right? So
Okay.
it's closed in January.
Okay, I see. And then what does the token play in, the next phase of decentralization and growth?
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure that we really capture the community. So what we did with this airdrop is we announced it in September, while at the same time as we had the separation between the Wallet Connect Foundation and Rion, and also we announced the first 8 node operators. Then in November, we announced another 8 node operators and we kicked off the staking. So now the node operators are actually staking the tokens, and then users could also stake the tokens, but we needed to put in the hands of users tokens for them to stake. So we actually took a snapshot of 2 years of Wallet Connect activity and retroactively airdrop for the most active users. And this also included developers. So a lot of developers, even if they were necessarily power users, they contributed a lot to the development because it's an open source project. They also received airdrops. So you had both users and developers for the last 2 years of contributions actually receive airdrops in November, and they had until January to claim. Then in February, we had a lot of people that still wanted to get their hands on the token. We did 2 public sales, one with CoinList and one with BitGet. And we then did some private sales as well with like the Echo platform. So we built out the community even larger. And on top of that, we had so many wallet partners that had like their small niche audiences. They did wallet quests where people could actually earn the tokens. And by the end of March, we had like 300,000 community members. And out of these 300,000, about 60,000 were staking the tokens already. So in April, we actually launched the token in all major exchanges, and it was a very successful launch that we're really happy because it just really had so much partnerships at the node operator level, the wallet level, the public sales, and the exchanges. It really showed that like the 7 years of Wallet Connect has really built a very strong ecosystem.
Yeah. And for those interested in participating in this ecosystem through staking, what are the benefits for user staking in WCT token?
Yeah, so the more stake there is into the network, the more performance and reliability we can actually ensure for the node operators. In fact, like the more staking we have in the network, the more node operators we can actually onboard. So we want to expand to more regions and have more coverage. You can think of it as like almost like wallet connect becoming, if it's going to be this like Visa for wallets, we want to have like connections everywhere. Like if we want to put node operators in Antarctica, we're going to need more stake than that. And as a staker, you actually earn rewards. So these are weekly rewards, and they will depend on the number of tokens and the locking period. So if you put 1,000 tokens for a year, that actually gives you 250 staking power, and that gives you more rewards than if you put 1,000 tokens for only a week or two. So the longer you stake your tokens, the more staking power you have. But not just staking power, you also have staking voting power. So we have already had two governance proposals, and I know that there's at least a couple of other pending proposals that might go into voting in this quarter. So the more staking power you have, it also means the more voting power you have.
Okay, I see. So it equates more staking, more voting power. And I've seen you something completely off topic, but I've seen you mention smart sessions on X a few times. Could you explain what that is and what role that plays in Wallet Connect experience?
I think the best way to explain smart sessions is that everyone today in 2025, they have a smartphone. And if you went back 20 years ago, smartphones were nowhere near as popular, and everyone had a phone, but they didn't have a smartphone. So I expect wallets to go in a very similar path. Everyone today has a wallet, and eventually everyone will have a smart wallet. That means that Wallet Connect also needs to get smarter. So every time you connect your wallet, you're actually establishing a session between the app and the wallet. And these sessions today mean that you actually connect your wallet, expose some addresses from the blockchain, and you say, I am able to sign transactions or messages to interact with this application. But this is a terrible experience because now every time you need to interact with this application, it redirects you back into your wallet. And there's like this pop-up that says, approve this action or approve this transaction. And it's very inconvenient and sometimes it's highly technical to understand what these actions do. So with Smart Sessions, we provide more security, but also a better user experience where you would actually connect with a Smart Session and you would never have to approve a transaction ever again. The reason this works is because Wallet Connect Network has built what we call a policy engine. The policy engine controls a set of permissions or rules, so to speak, that allow the application to sign transactions on the behalf of the user, so you don't have to approve them. And then the Wallet Connect Network ensures not only the performance and reliability, but also the security that these transactions are valid and not malicious.
Okay, yeah, that's because that's one of my questions. You know, how many beginners or people experiencing new products always worry they want what they're used to, you know, so they always worry about safety. So I wanted to ask how Wallet Connect protects users like this. So that the whole smart session things.
And today, even without the smart sessions, you already have some protection. So, for example, like every time you connect with Wallet Connect, you actually have website or application verification. So, any application that it participates in the Wallet Connect network must verify themselves. And if they don't verify, then they actually evaluated whether they are mimicking or phishing users to look like a legit application. So that means that like verified applications get a security badge that says like verified, like similar to how you find it on Twitter, for example. And then the other ones either get an unknown badge or even get a warning saying this application is trying to look or pretend to be someone else. So we already have this level of like app verification. And with smart sessions, we take it to another level where we actually not only have the connection verified, but the transaction signing verified.
Okay, so you go like an extra mile compared to what other, you know, maybe Google add-ons or other companies offer in terms of security or safety for the users. And
Exactly. That's why our ambition for a long time, I've always explained it very succinctly in a single sentence. If Wallet Connect were to be the Visa for wallets, what features should it provide? And Smart Sessions is one step towards that.
I like this quote. It's very simple, but it gets the message across. And it actually leads me to my next question about, you know, the ecosystem vision and cross-chain interoperability. You know, Wallet Connect supports apps across many chains. From your perspective, what does cross-chain connectivity look like, and how does Wallet Connect, you know, help enable it?
Yeah, so the first step that we took back in 2023 was making sure that Wallet Connect was multi-chain. So prior to Wallet Connect being multi-chain, we actually had like Wallet Connect for Ethereum, and then we have like smaller Wallet Connect versions like for Polkadot and Cosmos and Solana. And this really wasn't a very efficient system because you don't have the same level of network effects if they're all separated. So having like one Wallet Connect network that works across all chains was a big step, a big upgrade for us. And it really paid off because now we're seeing the growth numbers really help. And also we are seeing a lot of wallets that are now not only working just for Ethereum or Solana or Polkadot, like they work with multiple chains at the same time. However, there's a big challenge now, which is like applications, they have to pick which chains they actually work on. And you might see sometimes that an application works on a different chain than your wallet. And this shouldn't be a reason for a user to not be able to interact with any application. In fact, we expect the number of applications and chain to completely 100 or 1000x within the next 5 years, and would be almost impossible for wallets to keep up with the explosion of chains. So what we actually expect is that Wallet Connect can provide chain abstraction, which is something that is an experimental feature where it allows you to interact with an application in a connection that is in a completely different chain than your wallet, but your tokens are still able to be transferred into this application chain. So if this is actually very successful, it's currently in a beta stage for developers to try it out. We actually would see Wallet Connect not only providing the security, performance, reliability, but also this cross-chain interoperability where for any chain and any application, you don't even need the wallets to be compatible with.
Which would be huge because it's one barrier extra that you've removed. Because yeah, I mean, I remember using wallets years ago, and the amount of steps that you have to go through to some things or connect
Yeah.
to this network, do that. It is quite the block for for trying to get people to actually use them. So I like where this is going, and I hope that it succeeds in this mission. Which leads me to my last question: what's next? Are there any big launches, upgrades, milestones we should watch for? Airdrop Part 2?
Well, obviously, a lot of people want me to give some alpha around the airdrop
Okay.
season two. We obviously can't disclose it right now, but we're working on it and making sure that we have a very successful season two airdrop for people to participate. One thing that I would like to highlight is that we're still expanding to more chains. So recently, we actually announced that we did a collaboration with Fireblocks, where they actually expanded their Wallet Connect support into Sui. So now Sui can actually use Wallet Connect, and we expect more wallets to add support for Sui through Wallet Connect. On top of that, like the Wallet Connect token is also becoming multi-chain. For a long time, Wallet Connect has been multi-chain, but when we launched the Wallet Connect token, it was actually single chain, only operated on Optimism. But in partnership with Wormhole, we were actually able to mint the token now across multiple chains. And the first chain that we minted, as you can imagine, was in Ethereum. So the Wallet Connect token is now available both on Optimism and on Ethereum. And we look forward to expand to other chains like Base, Arbitrum, and even Solana.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the information. It was very informative, and I'm sure our viewers will really, really enjoy it. Have a lovely day, and thank you for your time.
Absolutely. You can always find me on Twitter and follow Wallet Connect as well.
Perfect.